Thanks very much, Danny. Ladies and gentlemen, the first inductee. Could you please put your hands together for Kerry Stokes AC.
One of Australia's most successful businessmen, Kerry Stokes AC was Perth Wildcats owner during their first golden era in the 1990s, culminating in a breakthrough NBL championship in his first season. The media tycoon and noted philanthropist delivered back-to-back titles in 1990 and 1991, and two more in 1995 and 2000. Mr. Stokes was the driving force behind the Wildcats' move to the iconic 8,000-seat Perth Entertainment Centre as the popularity of the franchise boomed. He handed the reins to NBA legend Luke Longley and club great Andrew Vlahoff after a magnificent decade that will never be forgotten. Accepting the award tonight on behalf of Kerry Stokes AC is Andrew Vlahoff OAM.
Thank you very much. It's a great honour to be up here on behalf of Kerry. There's some very special people in the room that he was very instrumental in not only recruiting to the Perth Wildcats but retaining them. The one thing I'd like to say about Kerry that I think stands out amongst everything that he did for the club is he brought a level of excellence and professionalism, and he did not accept mediocrity in any sense of the word. We were very fortunate to have him as an owner for so many years, and I think he laid a tremendous foundation for the club to pursue not only more championships, but overall the culture and the community aspect for the Perth Wildcats. Unfortunately, Mr. Stokes is in the US at the moment, couldn't be here, and I am, again, very honoured to be here to accept the award. So, ladies and gentlemen, Kerry Stokes.
Good on you, Hoff. Thank you very much. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Kerry Stokes, our first inductee into the Hall of Fame. Our second inductee, ladies and gentlemen, and a massive round of applause, Adrian Hurley, OAM.
A coaching legend in Australia, Adrian Hurley, OAM, took the Perth Wildcats to 2 grand finals in 4 seasons at the helm. The highlight of Hurley's tenure was a historic Triple Crown in 1995, as the Wildcats became the first NBL team to win the pre-season tournament, minor premiership and championship in the same season, with legends Andrew Vlahoff, Ricky Grace, James Crawford and Scott Fisher among his star-studded roster. Hurley took the franchise to the World Club Championship in London later that year, where they finished 3rd and knocked off Spanish powerhouse Real Madrid. Please welcome Adrian Hurley, OAM, to the stage.
Thank you very much. It's a great honour to receive such an honour from a club which is clearly has the greatest tradition of any basketball club in Australia, and perhaps any sporting team in Australia, and one of the best in the world. So if you get an award from a club like that, it is indeed a great honour. Most of you wouldn't know who the hell I am, or what I am, or where I came from, or depends. Most of you probably weren't even born. But I came over here with my family in 1993. We went to the grand final, and unfortunately Andrew Vlahoff missed a 3-pointer to win the grand final. It was only about 40 feet out when he threw it, but we won't talk much about that. But our family really enjoyed our time here. When we came here, I think that was one of the highlights for us, was the people. The people of Perth just really made it so welcome for all my family, the kids and myself. And they were so hospitable, so supportive, so loyal, and that is probably the biggest memory that I cherish from our time in Perth with the people and the fans particularly. It was mentioned about 1995, and that's, I suppose, one of the reasons I'm up here, is that we won the Triple Crown, which was the pre-season, the regular season, and the NBL title itself. And then we went, that was on a Sunday, The next day, we flew out to London. So by the time we got to Singapore, you can imagine the state of some of the players. But so it wasn't too bad because we only had the Houston Rockets waiting for us at the other end. And they were the NBA champions, and we didn't go too well against them. I think most of our players were still somewhere between Singapore and Dubai, and then we won our next couple of games, and then we came back, and surprising to everyone, we beat the Real Madrid, the European champions, and so we ended up third in the world. And we also became the first Australian team to play against an NBA team. So it wasn't a bad year with a Triple Crown NBA team and also third in the world. So that was great, and we had a wonderful time doing that. I can remember from that trip, apart from playing against all those great players, there was one incident I remember very clearly, and Hoff probably remembers this as well. I was giving out the assignments before the game in the dressing room and saying, well, you know, you've got Scott Fisher, you've got Elijah Warren, yeah, it should be all right. You've got Ellie, and you've got Clyde the Guide Drexler, and so I came to the last person, and I looked at James Crawford, and I said, James, and said, you've got Robert Ory. Now, Robert Ory at that time was probably top 2 or 3 players in the NBA, defensive and everywhere else. And James looked at me and said, geez, actually something worse than that, actually. But I looked at James very steadily, and I said, James, you have to mark somebody. And that was always, remember that, the awe that the players felt about the opposition. So I'd like to thank everyone again, and Mike Ellis is over there. I want to thank Mike because he was our manager, and all of the players. And we had a wonderful group when I had Andrew Vlahoff, I had Scott Fisher particularly, Ricky Grace and James Crawford, and I think a lot of you were there would remember when we won the grand final here. We were 28 points up at half time. That's a dream for a coach to coach that game. Vlahoff was shutting everyone down and knocking people over as usual, and Ricky was using his amazing grace and throwing alley-oops to Crawford, who was dunking everything, and Fisher was going out there leading as he does. And we know we had some young players there with Martin Cardellini coming through, Aaron Chaher, Anthony Stewart, great young players. And it was, but the team itself was just, we were just solid. They were loyal, they were very good, they were a pleasure to coach, and they were wonderful. So I wish to thank them. And you only win these awards if you have good players. I'd like to also thank my family and my wife, obviously Carolyn. Without her support and devotion, then her contribution is always immeasurable. Finally, I'd just like to wish John and the team all the best in the upcoming finals. I'm sure they'll do very, very well, and they'll probably win the whole thing and bring more great accolades and honour to the best club in Australia. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, please, a big round of applause for Adrian Hurley, championship winning coach in 1995. And just a reminder to those down the back of the room, this is a Hall of Fame, and we are inducting some very important people into that Hall of Fame, so a little bit of shush would be appreciated. The third and final inductee, ladies and gentlemen, into the Perth Wildcats Hall of Fame is Raquel Muir.
Raquel Muir commenced as a town and country dancer in 1989 during the Perth Entertainment Centre days and was in residency for 7 seasons. After a 10-year hiatus, Raquel returns in a game night assistant role as the club transitioned from Challenge Stadium to RAC Arena and has been a part of 9 of the Wildcats' 10 championships won. She's remained as resident choreographer and game night producer and has assisted the basketball community in providing production and entertainment at state, national and international levels. Please welcome Raquel Muir to the stage.
Thank you so very much. Thank you to our club legends and Sam Fotu and Danny Mills. I am honoured to be standing here and to be aligned with such a prestigious group of deserving individuals. I've worked for the Perth Wildcats collectively for more than half my life. I am no basketballer. In 1989, I auditioned to be a Perth Wildcats town and country dancer. In the years that followed, thank you. Good to see I didn't have to do that. In the years that followed, I experienced the height of basketball at the Perth Entertainment Centre and watched a team of players whom we now know as our legends and a small group of young dancers become household names and celebrities. It was common for us, the dancers, to appear in magazines, TV commercials, be interviewed live before a game, and be showered with sponsorship over and above your imagination, and all without a social media platform. It was a surreal time, unbelievable in fact. However, after 7 seasons though, it was time for fresh faces and a new look squad, which resulted in a hiatus from basketball for me. I simply could not watch basketball. It was all or nothing. However, a phone call from Andrew Vlahov, 10 years on, would reintroduce me to the Perth Wildcats at the Perth Superdome. I was hesitant, but Andrew asked me to attend a game to provide feedback. He asked me for some notes. I recall it was a bit more like a mini thesis. And since that day, it's been an incredibly challenging, yet rewarding and unforgettable journey. I have seen the club transition through changes of venue, owners, management, coaches and so on, but the one consistent has been the community and family I belong to, and the respect and gratitude shown toward me always. Andrew Vlahov, Mike Ellis, Ricky Grace, Cal Bruton, Scott Fisher, Amy Hamilton, Lockie Reed, Sean Redditch, Damien Martin, Greg Heyer, Jesse Wagstaff, Katie Reed, Glenn Buxton, Simon Lumbus, Luke Crone and Neil Barnard. You have been instrumental in my journey and you continue to inspire me. Thank you to the club for providing a platform for WA dancers and entertainers to showcase their craft. To know that these young people are experiencing a reboot of the 90s is exciting and fulfilling, and is what takes me down memory lane each and every game. To Mike, James, Scott, Andrew, Ricky and Eric, I have some idea of how many sprints around a basketball court I did for you and how many backflips I performed in front of you in your player run-ons with seconds to spare, but I never calculated this in my wildest dreams. Finally, a shout out to my mum. She actually thinks I've won the MVP. So Bryce, if you could spare one, I'd really hate to disappoint her. I'd be very grateful. Seriously, I'm very, very privileged to have received this acknowledgement. I would like to share this with the many game night staff, dancers, creatives and production crews. I am indebted to you for all that you bring to our game night. You are a unique, talented and dedicated group of individuals. Thank you for all you do for providing the best game night presentation in the NBL. Thank you for your time. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is special. Raquel has done a magnificent job. We don't see her a lot out front of stage, but she does so much work, not only during games, but also in these MVP awards. Please, one more time for Raquel Muir, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll ask Raquel to come forward because I'd like to get you to give a big round of applause to Kerry Stokes, Adrian Hurley, and also Raquel, the 2023-2024 Perth Wildcats Hall of Fame inductees.